Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Joining us for this town council meeting. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance and a brief word of prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father, we pray your blessings over our meeting this evening, that we would be good stewards of the resources that have been entrusted to us. Help us to make wise decisions and passionate decisions that will benefit our town, benefit its residents, and may we be found faithful as you are faithful. In Jesus' name, amen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to start our monthly council meeting by approving the minutes from our council executive session on August 4th. Special session, what's that?
We don't have the other ones yet. We'll have this.
Oh, we don't have the other minutes yet, but we need, you should have received these minutes from the August 4th executive session. Any changes, questions, or comments?
I didn't see any.
Okay, I would entertain a motion to approve.
Motion.
I'll second
Got a
that.
motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. We do not have the minutes yet from the last council meeting. We will get those approved at the next meeting. However, we do have an amendment to the minutes from the June 9th meeting minutes. We approved the minutes at the last meeting, but there was an amendment submitted. Town member Sue Mort came forward and presented her history with the Pearson Chamber and stated that the issue with the free restrooms in the park, the chamber discussed how to get public restrooms and presented the idea of seeing if Paragon Medical would sponsor the restrooms. Twice a vote was taken in the chamber meeting and members voted that they would not clean the restrooms, including Sue herself. She stated that the idea was never presented to Paragon, nor did they offer to build the restrooms in the park. And we wanted to make sure that those comments were included in the minutes. That's the only change or amendments to those meetings.
Make a motion to adopt this amendment.
Okay,
First portion.
I have a motion.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second to approve. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Thank you. Was there just the one copy, Myra, or were there two? There we go. There, that one. All right, next on the agenda, guests that we have with us this evening. Yes, sir. Would you like to come and present whatever you have for us?
Matt Rippey from Ashbury Water Technology.
Thank you for being here.
Okay, we since we've been working with the town, for every board meeting, we provide operational reports that kind of summarizes what's going on with the water and wastewater systems. As far as the first item I have here, this is happened back in June, but when we first started on June 1st, IDEM did come and do an inspection. Inspection was triggered by the former operator letting IDEM know he was no longer the operator, so they just poked their head in to see who was then. So, they did a reconnaissance inspection. We did send a response letter to it. There are a few things noted, which I'll cover later in the report here. Ashbury's, we've completed the application for the NPDES renewal for the wastewater treatment plant. It expires on February 2027, but they required to get it in 6 months ahead of time. And so if they have, as they go through the process, they'll have plenty of questions and stuff. And Glenn's already signed that. So we'll get that set down to IDEM. Another thing you were aware of was that the town's wellhead protection plan has to be updated every 5 years, and then that was due back in June. And so Ashbury said we have set a quote for that to update that. It's $1,450, which basically just the oil protection will be basically do a search of all the areas that are within your wellhead protection boundary. And that's just the area that could potentially contaminate where your wells are.
Okay.
Look for any new circumstances or any new businesses that have moved in, and then, update all the information as far as the response, as far as, response to any kind of contamination, and if there was a problem with the wells or whatnot, they could provide alternate water sources.
So you have not done that yet? I was just.
No, that's, I've had, there's
Yeah.
in the report, I put a quote in there. So that's up to the board to decide for that. We'll probably do it such as past due, we'll file an extension, and then we'll go from there if the board approves that. The June's DMR and MRO were submitted to IDEM on July 27th. Unfortunately, there was two exceedances. One was for total phosphorus, which we're barely under the average on that. And the second was for total suspended solids, which was just a one-time event due to some high flows of the wastewater treatment plant. One of the items that was on the inspection was that the sludge disposal at the plant, there's stockpiled sludge that was in the drying beds. We were able to sample the sludge in order to get permits from the GLF environmental, the landfill. And so we got a permit to dispose of the sludge in there. And they also got a 30-yard dumpster. And so I know Noah's been working on cleaning out some of those beds. I think we got 3 out of the 8 cleaned out now. And then once we get probably 6 cleaned out, we can start putting sludge on them once again. The UV system, after the treatment plant treats all the wastewater, the effluent has to be disinfected during disinfectant season. And you guys have a UV ultraviolet light disinfection system. It's basically like tanning bulbs that go underwater, and except it's about 200 times more powerful. And so there were, out of the 32 bulbs out there, only 16 that were working. But then we went ahead and got the rest of them working. There are 2 racks of the bulbs are in the racks of 4. And there are 2 that will not, even with the new bulbs, will not work. We tried the balances too, but even with the 6 out of the 8 going, I think the whole system is rated for 500,000 gallons a day, and your flows are way under that. So it's still doing a pretty good job with the disinfection.
You don't quote new racks?
We got quotes for new racks. We got 2 different options, which I didn't want to bring too much in. There's a company that will take the Trojan UV systems, and you'll send the racks in, and they'll give you a quote to repair them and stuff. But then you can go ahead and just buy them from Trojan from Canada. And we weren't sure which way we should pursue that, because the brand new, each one of those racks runs around $8,000 a piece if we buy them brand new. But if we could send them in to a company that's called UV Superstore, but it's possible they could just, replace the circuit boards and stuff in them. It looked like at some point they got some water in them, so that might be just an electronic problem inside of them. But like I said, we're making permit right now with just the 6 that are working right now.
But there's not an estimate on what the repairs would be?
Yeah, we haven't got around to that yet.
Okay.
As far as the drinking water side, they've had really no issues with the plant there, except for the one water main break we had. But so we really haven't had any issues on that side. I know you have one high service pump that is out waiting for repair from Peerless Midwest. So I guess we'll wait for that to come in and fix that. So we'll have two functioning high service pumps. We did do kind of an evaluation of, and there's a lot here. It might be enough for a separate meeting, but we did do some evaluation of what's some issues at the wastewater treatment plant. I think the most serious one is the inflow pumping system. The control panel, in front of the pictures, is in very bad shape, and the level controllers no longer work. So basically the pumps are just running constantly. And, you know, at times that once they're running dry and stuff sometimes, which is not good for the long term. The way the system's supposed to work, there's two pumps. There's two 15 horsepower pumps that pump to your storm surge tank. And there's two 7.5 horsepower pumps that pump to your treatment system. And so when you get high flows during storm events, if the two 7.5 horsepowers can't keep up, then there's a higher level that it gets to. The two 15 horsepowers will kick in. And one was in for repair, and Noah said that's already back now. But I guess the control panels is the main thing, since right now it's just set up to run constantly, which is probably not bad. We got two quotes. They're in the back here. I was waiting for a third, but they haven't come in yet. The quotes are very different.
Yeah.
Flow Techniques, which is a company we work with, we basically told them to copy what was in there. It's a flow system. There's no transducers, no anything fancies, but that's $8,500 plus freight. Then that doesn't include installation, which would probably have, if your town's got an electrician, or if you want somebody to install that, you know, we could mount it up and everything and do that. Now, D&D Electric, he kind of builds control panels. I didn't think he'd be this high, but his was $37,425. And he is still kind of sticking with the float system, but he does have kind of an alarm monitoring system and stuff also included with this panel. Like I said, I'm hoping to get a third one, but I think that's kind of a high priority to get that working. I tried a picture with the panel itself, and if that would ever go out, as all the sewage from the town goes to that system to pump it up there, so it would be a fairly large mess.
So the Flow Techniques proposal, get us updated to where we need to be.
Yeah.
And help us be set for the future.
Yeah, it would get you, basically, we took the schematics, the drawings from the original system that was put in 2012, I think, or before that, and that's what they copied.
Okay.
It's two systems, two sets of floats, and that, so there's two pumps that alternate back and forth, and two larger pumps that alternate back and forth. And it's just based on the level and floats. So it's kept it pretty simple. I mean, you can get very complicated with these things.
Sure.
On these control panels, but it's pretty basic, just about the same was put in
Is there
originally.
safeties that, like, if one of them go out, it notifies somebody, or it?
You do have a SCADA system out there at the plant that can be hooked into it. Right now, I don't think it's working. I haven't been able to get it to work, but yeah, but there's contacts for alarm output on the control panel. So, you know, it's possible to get it going.
But that's not part of that quote.
Yeah, but the contacts are there. So, you know, if you wire them to it. Yeah.
It just seemed to me, with the difference in pricing on these two quotes, I would have expected D&D Electrical to be a lot more comprehensive than the $8,000 quote that seems a lot more detailed, just visually.
Yeah.
Now, these things don't mean a thing to me,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, D&D is, they're very good. The Austin guy, he builds panels for the city of Warsaw and stuff, but yeah, I was surprised how high it was, but
Yeah. I mean, if you said to me, well, this meets your needs and this is the Cadillac model that a town your size doesn't really need, then I said, okay, there's the
That makes more
difference.
sense,
yeah.
I don't know what to do with these, quite frankly.
I was trying to get a third one too from a different pump manufacturer, Gaspoda Associates. but they have not gotten back with me with a quote for this.
Okay. So what do we need to do? Do we need to make a decision for these tonight?
Seems like it's a priority.
I mean, I would say, I would base that on the urgency of it. If you
Yeah.
feel it's urgent and it needs to be done.
Yeah, I think
Can-
that's probably one of the biggest vulnerabilities that plant has right now is that, everything else is workable.
Well, I do appreciate the pictures because it gives me visually what we've heard about and haven't seen until now. So thank you for that.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we move forward with the float tech proposal.
Okay,
Yeah.
and I will second that motion. I've got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Approved, the flow tech proposal.
Just another item I wanted to make you aware of is that the influence screening system, there's basically a screen with an auger that removes rags and stuff from the flow. And that's taken up, put into a dumpster. That's not operating. I think it's basically going to have to be pulled up to look at to see what it's going to cost to fix that. But according to Noah, it has been working for a couple of years now. Right now, the flow just bypasses around it, but long-term, keeping those rags and like out of the plant, the pumps they're going to be beneficial to the plant. I'll get more information on as far as like what it would cost to pull it out of there. We need a crane to pull it out and then take it and get it evaluated. It's a lakeside equipment. They don't have a service center anymore, so we have to get somebody to pull it and take it to them, I guess. We don't have the service department that goes to the field anymore.
I do think I would like to move that we approve the 5-year update and phase 2 wellhead protection plan for 1,400.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Approved.
On here. Like I said, we're moving forward with moving the sludge out of the plant and get it taken to the landfill. One thing, just put it in the board's head that right now, the sludge drying beds are what we have to use to get rid of the sludge. I mean, wastewater treatment makes clean water and it makes sludge. That's what two things they always make. And so it's got to be a regular system of removing the sludge to keep the treatment system in balance. And so at one point, you guys had a system set up for geotextile sludge dewatering bags, which is basically you take the sludge, you put a polymer in it that separates the water from the solids into a bag that lets the water come out and keeps the sludge in. Just kind of put this idea in your head that might be it'll be a lot more efficient because you have a lot of the equipment for it already at the plant. It's just been decommissioned. Because right now, the sludge drying beds, a lot of older plants use them, but it's very weather dependent. If you got to put it out there, it's got to have the sun, dry it out. You can't use them in the winter. These are much more flexible. So I think possibly that would be a much better way to get rid of your sludge in the future, but just planning that idea. One thing that I didn't is that your plant has 2 very large surge tanks, about 1 million gallons of capacity that's supposed to handle wet weather flow. Now, those were all the way full, and we've been slowly trying to drain those back through the plant. But we got to go slow because you can't put 1 million gallons through a plant that's not ready for it. So I think we've got it down, about 3 feet now at this point. But that's one of the things they mentioned to get those. So we have capacity if you do have a big storm. And in fact, I think that the main reason of that was for back in April when we had all that rain. Because when we renewed your permit, we went back and looked at all your flows for the last 5 years. That April, you had the highest flows you've ever had, ever. And that's what caused a lot of that to get filled up. So we're slowly getting that back in case we have a incident like that. Again, so And I guess, okay. So that's basically, I mean, the wastewater plant, you know, we've got, we did get the clarifier repaired because when we first got there, there was only one clarifier working, the other one, chains had broken off. So we did get that repaired. So they're both are working, and that helps us handle a little more flow too. The clarifier is where the sludge is separated from the clear water. So with only one in operation, it was getting hydraulically overloaded and pushing solids out of the plant. So, but that's been repaired.
Very good.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming.
If you've got any questions, anybody wants a free tour, I'm available.
Okay.
Everything out there.
All right.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We do have a couple of invoices from Asbury that we need to look at. This invoice is from August 6th. Variety of labor charges for various things. The employee's name is listed. This invoice, it's two separate ones, right?
Right.
Yeah. The first invoice is for $21,080.30, and that is for many hours of labor.
It's like 1 month, right?
July utility, yeah. And for those that may not remember, we're contracted with Asbury because we lost Casey, and they're helping us not only maintain, but get caught up on some things as well. So I need to know what the will of the council is.
Make a motion, we pay it.
I'll second that.
A motion and a second to pay the invoice for $21,080.30. And then we have a second invoice dated July 16th. This was for the June utility labor. I guess I had them reversed. And that invoice is for $15,687.55. I'll move that we pay that invoice as well.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All in favor, or all opposed? Same sign. Thank you. Now, lucky you gets to figure out how we pay them.
Yep.
Yeah. Take it out of my salary.
Okay, we'll do that.
Yeah.
We'll cover it.
All right. Do we have any other guests with us this evening? Rachel, did you have something for us? Or are you just here because you like us?
I just like you.
There you go.
I'm
Wonderful.
here visiting.
Wonderful. Any new business to come before the council other than regular reports? All right. Any old business? I don't have any outstanding. All right, let's do police reports.
All right, first item on the list here is the replacement of the 2016 Ford Explorer. I've been talking with Myra about trying to get that replaced. She said we go ahead and get a quote together. And so we picked out a Chevy Silverado from Kelly Chevrolet for the price breakdown there. And then the upfit from R&B for a grand total of $62,600. So I'm requesting permission to purchase that vehicle to replace the Explorer. And what I would do with the Explorer is I need the radio out of that because the encrypted radios are really expensive. It's like $6,000 just to buy the radio itself. So we would partially decommission that vehicle. We can keep the in-car camera. We can de-stripe it, but if we move forward with like a building inspector or something like that, we can keep that car for them, or further down the road, if the town decides to do an auction, we can get rid of it there because we're not going to get very much through a trade-in on it. So I think our better bet would be to auction it off or keep it for civilian use.
Okay. Do you have money in your budget to do this?
Not in his budget.
Not in my budget, not in the PD budget.
It'd be seated,
Do we have money in the budget to do this?
seated.
Okay.
But, yeah, it would be some we did for another project. One thing not happening next year, and there's a lot less than what we
Gotcha.
first thought we were gonna have to pay.
Okay. then I would move that we approve this purchase.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second? Any comments, questions?
It should be a Ford, but
Yeah. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign.
We've
You
had
know, you
trouble.
could vote it no. We
I did
still
do
have-
my homework and the Silverado was on the cheaper end of the vehicles, but long-term durability, I think we're gonna have far more success. So
Come on, man.
so I'll give it,
GM all the way.
The next item is talking about the increase for our Sydney patrol as we talk about next year's budget. Just give you two options of either increasing the cost to Sydney to approximately $4,000. Broke it down there because of the price of gas and then how we pay our officers. We pay them while they're on duty to do it. And the total down there. I just gave you a secondary option to do it contracted where they would pay the officers directly. It'd be a little more legwork for Sydney. But the officers would be paid to do that on their off-duty time and not directly when they're on duty for the town.
That's all right.
no, I think that's a great idea because then it not only gives our reserves the ability to make a little bit of money, excuse me, but it also gets the coverage done and not costing the town much of money. So I would have you move to CN Obsidian. Go ahead and do the 1099s and start paying either a full-time officer to do it or one of the reserves.
I would second that motion.
And I can track all that and I will keep track of all the time, submit it directly to their clerk and everything like that, yeah.
Direct from Sydney.
And monitor all that.
Yeah,
I agree.
got a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Approved.
Thank you. I just want to talk to you. I completed the online training for the water and wastewater security last week. I learned a bunch of stuff that I had no idea about. It was very interesting stuff. It was a 2-hour course. I have a list of notes to go over. I just put a few things in here. If we're not connected to the internet, we're golden. They can't break in. But if we do a wireless alarm or anything like that, we need to have a super duper firewall.
Sure.
Because there are attacks going against our infrastructure all the time. And I learned that if we do that, or if we are connected remotely in so they can monitor stuff, that the state will give us either a great discount on firewalls, or if we qualify, it'll be free. And so I have all that information. I got that all, but I just wanted you guys to know that
But as of today, we're okay.
as far as I know, from what I can understand, yeah, we'll talk later. But from what I understand of how it was explained to me, we're good. And if it's not,
We have, there's no connection between.
yeah,
Okay.
but if there is, we can get it taken care of.
Well, thank you for doing
Yeah.
that. Thank you for taking that training.
Yeah.
So,
And then, as I've been going through, getting settled in, you guys were gracious enough. We bought new firearms at the end of last year and we're cycling out old stuff. And I'm just asking for permission to sell our old stuff that we wouldn't have traded in or not gotten a whole lot out to the officers. We'll complete all the FFL paperwork and all that stuff, but I give you a breakdown of what we had. And some of them are pretty old. Like we don't use shotguns anymore. That's very 1990-ish policing. We're kind of past that now. So.
Yeah, I don't see, I make a motion, we
yeah,
approve the selling of the.
yeah.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right.
Had some requests come up for the Purston Range. Private organizations have asked to come use the range in connection with law enforcement agencies. Don't don't really know if we have a policy on that or what liability would be. So I just wanted to bring it up to you guys, what our stance would be.
Katie, I guess, yeah, I know Myra said she reached out to you to see if there was any.
I mean, and I took a quick look at it. Our ordinance is very old, related to discharge of firearms in town. It does allow for training, for police training. So, and, discharge obviously during the course of the officer's duties. But we don't really address the use or the private use or the rental of that. And I would say that if that is something that you're wanting to do, I mean, if there's parameters, I think we can update our ordinance. It would definitely need to be updated if that's what you wanted to do. I think right now it's pretty limiting, so that would be my only concern. I think, the clerk's concerned about having lots of insurance is always a good idea. Insurance all the way around, and, any agreements to indemnify, that should be required if that was going to be done. And I think that should go in the ordinance if you were going to extend that out. I mean, right now, I think the ordinance as written, I think it would be limited to law enforcement training. To extend that out to private entities, I think definitely just the ordinance would need to be updated, and we want to look at that. So depending on how wide you would want to go, I think that would make a difference too. Is it law enforcement sponsored events? That would be a little different. You're not going to allow just members of the public to go up there and shoot, right? You're not going to allow just.
It would be more towards law enforcement sponsored events. We've had churches that have reached out and wanted training for their security and like gun safety courses and things like that. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think the ordinance just would need to be modified to address that, and that certainly could be done. I did do a quick search to see if Warsaw or Winona Lake had anything, and I didn't see anything in their ordinances. I don't know if you're aware of any.
Yeah, Winona Lake doesn't have a range. They typically use ours or Warsaw PD's or the indoor range. It's just voted on by the council or whatever they decide or what their ordinance has set up. Typically it's approval by the chief, and then a law enforcement officer from that agency has to be there the entire time to monitor, kind of in charge of it.
Sure.
So.
Does Warsaw, do you know if Warsaw does allow some outs, not just law enforcement agencies, but do they allow anyone else, any other groups to come in?
They do. I was out there when we did ballistic test on our vest. And so it was hosted by a third party vendor that we bought our vest from, and they came out and did a demonstration for that.
Okay.
So I know they've done that.
Yeah. So it could be, we might be able to steal the language from their policy to include in the ordinance if the council would be so inclined to do that. But yeah, I mean, I think that if you can sort of set some parameters as far as who you would want to allow, we would just update the ordinance to allow.
I think that was, I remember when we talked about having the range out there, it was kind of discussed that we only wanted police just to be for the safety pretty much, kind of. But I guess as we can look at getting the ordinance updated to where it provides clarification of who is responsible, and then whether we probably need to check with our insurance to see if we need, whether it's sponsored by K counties, it says K County's insurance going to cover if somebody gets injured out there.
Right. Or what kind of liability.
What kind of liability form we would need. And it just may be a simple form of saying, they sign it when they go out there saying, I'm not going to sue the town if I get shot.
Right.
Well, and we could also require proof of insurance on any form,
Yeah.
and you can't use the range until you provide proof of insurance. We
Yeah.
could do,
Whatever.
But yeah, I'm not against it totally. It's just, I think we need to get our ducks in a row before we start.
And I think for me personally, just to state my own opinion, with our range being that close to the park and being so close to town, I would prefer that we limit it to law enforcement only. If you open up the door to wider, then you never know what kind of vendors are going to apply. Then you become the issue of, well, you approved this vendor, but not this one. Why? And then you have to manage all of that. And if we just say law enforcement or law enforcement sponsored, in other words, somebody's going to take responsibility for it, then you narrow down any external vendors this close to town. If the range were 2 miles out of town, I wouldn't think a thing about it.
Right. Yep. And that's why I 100% agree with you, law enforcement sponsored. So I'll work on getting that updated.
Okay,
And then just requesting permission apply for grants for radio upgrades. I talked about this earlier in the year. I had an incident yesterday where we did an update on the radios, the central dispatch did. And when we went back to our home channel, my radio decided that it would like to no longer work. So, as Matt knows, they are not very cheap. And so I would like to seek funding outside of our budget to try and get them replaced, but that's something that we're going to have to do in the coming months. So,
absolutely. I don't think we even need a motion to allow you to apply for money.
so
You go for it.
each portable radio is like $3,500 to $4,000. So
Yeah.
we're
I'm always about free money. So whatever you can do to get free money, go
perfect.
for it.
All right. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Noah submitted a streets and utility report for us, streets and sewer updates. East Market Street from First to Washington Street will be closed on August 22nd. Car show closures for the Tomato Festival, right?
Right.
Is that what that's for? Okay.
He needs to know like where it needs to be
Oh,
Oh,
closed. That's why he's got the question mark. Do
gotcha.
you know where the streets need to be closed?
We're gonna do East Market
You are
from 13 down, just like we were gonna do for Pearson.
Okay,
from First Street to
Like, yeah.
Washington Street.
Yeah.
All the way, the exact same setup,
gotcha. Yep. So,
because we're still gonna use the church parking lot,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
Or,
That's what the church.
so that would be West Market. Or no?
yeah, West Market, not East Market.
Yeah, West
Okay.
Market, sorry. East Market's already gonna be shut down, so,
Then to what street? Because that's not Washington.
sorry, West Market.
So to Third Street?
Is that
Yes.
Third? Yeah,
Yeah, the third.
that sounds right.
And then
Second's right behind the.
and then- the road in front of the church.
Yeah.
And then the one going back.
Yeah.
Was that be Tower? Is that Tower Street? Yeah,
Do we need a motion for that? I don't, we can just approve
Doesn't.
it.
Just, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't.
because we already approved it for the other.
Yeah,
anyway,
that's true.
So, we did have a water main break, an 8-inch water main break on West Pine Street. IDS out of North Manchester came around 8:30 and worked until 3:30 a.m. to get that fixed. We also had a water leak on West Wayne on July 24th that they repaired. They're working on picking up brush. They were working on picking up brush from the previous storm. Now they can work on today's storm brush pickup as well. Let's see, Graycraft Signs, he has a meeting on Friday to work on the state and county permits for the new Pearston signs. I looked at the new signs there at the town barn. They are stunning. For those of you who don't remember, we purchased 2 new town, what I call monument signs. They're about 5 feet tall and 6 or 8 feet wide, about this thick, beautiful, big white signs. One will go out on the corner near Wilby's. The other will go down here near Horizon Landscaping, that are just welcome to Pearston signs. So Noah's working with Gravecraft on what we need to do next to get the basis built for those and what we have to do and what the sign company will do. Noah's asking for permission to purchase a new toolbox. They have a lot of tools just laying around and no storage space to put them in. They're looking at a nice big Performax toolbox.
So this is one like they have, and then the other ones are,
Bigger.
you want to get a larger one.
Oh,
That's
big
why the
one.
price difference, yeah.
That's 41 by, that's almost twice as big. Gives you a little more flexibility. Do they have money in their budget that they can purchase this?
Yeah.
Okay. I personally would not be opposed to probably the middle range one. Although this one, for the price increase from the first one to the second one is much higher than from the second one to the third one. Chauncey, any thoughts on these two?
You're looking at towards the middle one?
Yeah.
There's not much difference
And the
between,
third one, yeah,
there's not
not
much
that much
difference between
difference.
the middle,
and
yeah, the
the second,
second and the third one.
Yeah, 10 inches.
yeah, and they do have a lot of tools down there.
I would probably, I think they'd be more happier with the last one.
Okay?
That's
You
my
want to make a
opinion.
motion to approve the third one?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll second that motion. Got a motion to approve the Performax 52 by 18 inch 16 drawer chest cabinet for $889.98. That's after
I was
rebate,
gonna say it'd be $1,000. It's
Yeah.
99.
essentially $1,000 with a $100 rebate, so. All right, got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. All right. That is the Streets and Utilities, Parks and Recreation Committee report. Come on down. Hi, Carla.
Oh, okay. So first off, tons and tons of people using that park. We were out
Yes.
there Sunday, we did a round of disc golf and there was disc golfers there. Both pickleball courts were completely full. I don't know if you guys have been out there on a Sunday, past couple of Sundays, it is packed.
Yeah.
Like, it's fantastic. I want to give quick thanks to Sue. She made a donation to the Parks Department. To Josiah, he fixed the press box sighting. And he said he does not want compensated. He just wants to add to the community. Noah, anything that I've asked him for to do, how do I do this? He's on top of it. Completed, the stump grinding got completed for free by Phillips. The roll sign got put up. Dustin, Officer Baker, got that put up over the weekend also. Updates, Clearly Kosciuszko. They finally know about us. So hopefully we will be on the Clearly Kosciuszko site here soon. I updated them on the trailway, the pickleball, tennis courts, basketball courts, amphitheater, the playground, all of it. So hopefully we're going to be on there. We're still waiting for the flagpole to be installed. I don't want to do a ribbon cutting for the whole park and without our flagpole installed. So just waiting on that. Then I'll schedule that. Grant stuff. I know all the information now. I know dates that it's due and all that. So, but we won't know anything on a grant until next year.
Sure.
So, latches. It was brought up to me that, and I think it was brought up to you guys also, that the latches on the pickleball courts hit somebody in the head. She's one of the regulars down there. She told me about it. We had the latches removed because they do stay shut. So it's really up to you guys. Do you want them put back on? ADA compliance would be 34 to 48 inches. So even if we brought them down at 6 inches further down, or we can put them back on in the winter, or whatever you guys want to do there. You just gotta, let me know.
So I also received a call from a lady who said that she felt they were dangerous. She didn't say she got hit in the head.
Okay.
I have a real problem with dismantling things that are paid for and new and are there for a reason.
Okay.
If we can, I would like to see them reinstalled, ADA compliant, which is fine. They are very heavy. The next person's going to complain about some child getting their fingers pinched. But the fact is, and I don't mind saying this to the public, children need to be taught to leave those things alone. People on the pickleball and tennis courts should either be playing or waiting patiently. Children should not be running and playing with the gates. So in my opinion, they should be reinstalled, ADA compliant. They were paid for as part of the project. There's a purpose for them and they need to be used appropriately.
Okay. We'll get those installed back on there. Well, no, we'll.
Sure. And I did talk
like,
about that
I
as
say, I'm sure pretty quickly.
Yeah.
That's really all that I have for you guys.
Go ahead.
I don't have anything.
Just out of curiosity, is anybody using the tennis park?
The tennis, the what?
The tennis court.
I have seen kids out there using it and
Okay.
who did,
And I have seen people using it.
Okay.
Yeah.